Okay, I guess our. Okay, well, this is Team Turbo. Our toy is modeled after Turbo, the DreamWorks character that came out this year in 2013. So if you haven't seen the movie, basically Turbo is a normal green garden snail, and he's crawling around the highway, and he gets sucked up into a truck and spit out, and he becomes an actual racing snail. I'm going to talk about why we chose him specifically as our muse in a second, but just so you understand what he does, he's a 3D printed plastic cover, and inside there are 2 wind-up motors. So he's a completely mechanical-based toy, and so I'll go to the next slide. Click on there. Okay. So our idea actually, Fat came up with it. So he likes origami frogs. I don't know if any of you played this when you were little, but you can fold up paper and then it hit the back of a frog and that bounced across the floor. So we wanted to do something that was interactive and had kids crawling around on the floor and playing with something just like this frog toy. So that's why we chose Turbo, because he has a spoiler on the back, and when you press the spoiler down, he actually rolls across the floor. So we wanted to get something that was active, social, gender neutral, so that you can have a wider base of people buying it, and have a lot of fantasy and challenge, so you can actually have multiple snails and race them across the floor against each other. So when we were exploring mechanical motors, they're actually kind of hard to find now because wind-up toys aren't as popular as they used to be. But it plays a, oh, okay. How do I actually play it? Okay, so that's what the Kiekerlin motor does. It's like a little crawling motor. So we actually attach 2 together, and it crawls in unison to add more power. And it's attached by a couple that we 3D printed. So Candace's going to talk about how we should put it into the toy.
Thank you. Can we go to the next slide? Thank you. So this is the inside view of the actual Turbo toy itself. As you can notice already right off the bat, Turbo is composed of 2 halves of a 3D printed shell. We split up 2 Kiekerlin motors, as she showed you before, one on each respective side. The wing itself is a catch and release mechanism. It's very simply put, when we wind up the motor itself, oftentimes for the old wind-up toys, you know, they keep going by themselves. It's once you have enough torsion, it'll start going. We want to lock that in place, store the potential energy, and release it with a simple mechanism, kind of like the shootout toys you see in Hot Wheels. This is the original shell that we had and it came with, and the wind-up toy we decided to put on one side, and you'll have a little key that you wind up with it before you launch the toy itself. And one special thing for this catch and release toy, or catch and release lever, what holds it up in the unlock position or the released portion is 2 magnets attached to the top portion of this bracket. And then for the catch side, we put a friction pad at the bottom here, which is weighted down to stop the motor from running. So this is the CAD model of how the mechanism works. Very simply put, it catches, stops the motor, and releases. And this is our final assembly of the toy that we produced yesterday. Very aesthetically pleasing, if I do say so myself. And unfortunately, we just broke the wheel when we came up here, so we can't give you a test run. But I'm going to crank it for you anyway and show how it works, and you can see in the video.
So there's the back.
That's pretty good. I not think there's going to be audio. But right now, so like I have it pressed. I'm going to push it up. This will lock it in place. You crank it with a key. Right now we don't have it glued on or anything because the Kiekerlin toy that originally came with, the shaft is kind of shortened. But you would ideally have a crank. You crank it up, he locks in place. Again, you see the motor doesn't freely spin, and then he'll drag, maybe. We'll see. Let me crank him up some more so he can overcome the friction. This might break him, though. So the fin is cushioned up so he doesn't move, and then when you release him, hopefully with the motor.
So
Man, he's really dragging his butt. Yeah.
It looks really nice. I think it looks very aesthetically pleasing. I have a couple of questions. One is, had you considered using the tail as the wind-up mechanism? Because when I immediately saw it, that's what I thought that was going to be for, and then when it came up, it stopped or something. I don't know.
Again, the original conception of it was from the little Frogger toys, and we were hoping to put something of that sort of mechanism in there. We couldn't, actually, we didn't have enough time to design it, really.
Because with the motor we got, there's a torsion spring in there, and you have to crank it, and there's those flashlights that you can crank. You can pump it by doing this, and that was actually the idea that we were having when we came up with it, but it ended up being too logistically difficult to do.
And then the other question I have is, if you noticed a trend of wind-up toys going off the market, what made you guys to decide to use that route in your design?
So I guess being mechanical engineers, we love mechanical things. And the Keekerlin toy in here is actually really cool. I think that, I was thinking about it earlier actually, if we had some of the shell be clear so you could see the motor actually twisting inside, I think is really beneficial to kids to see something mechanically moving, because there's a really cool gear train along the length of the toy. So I think
actually you didn't get to see it in the Keekerlin. So unfortunately the actual wind-up toy, it's too weak to really propel forward. It's kind of slow, as you can see right here. We like the noises and everything, but we were really hoping it creates sparks actually as it drags along, and you couldn't see that in the video because we pulled it back, because as it creates sparks, that's more friction, less power for it, so we pulled it, put that device out. But it actually creates sparks. So as Kara said, if we made this clear, you could see it sparking as it flew across, which is the original turbo itself. But unfortunately, again, it didn't work out as we planned.
To add on to that, the initial idea, like what Kara said, was to keep on pressing it, keep the child keep on engaging to the toy, compared to today where kids just use motorized toy where they just sit back and play with it, just let it run. So we just want the kids to get more involved and get more back involved into the toy compared to now.
And what's neat too is now that we broke it, you can still play with it.
And I just wanted to comment that you guys did a very good modeling job. It's a very, very solid job modeling it, and I love the expression in the eyes. He's really looking like he's trying to get somewhere.
That's determination.
Now you just need to put Purdue Engineering. That's determination.
Maybe in the future. We're thinking about putting some racing logos on them, but common bumper stickers are too big, so we're like, okay, it's fine. Sharpie? I guess we could have.